Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. We hope you'll sing with us. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Sing it with me. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful
Wonderful friends.
Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
Thank you for our friend Spirit, and thank you for this band. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. I am Tamira Hume, a practitioner here at our wonderful center, and I'm very glad to be with you today. This Memorial Day weekend, we take a few moments to reflect both on the start of summer, as this holiday has come to represent for many, and also its deeper meaning. Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day, began as a way to honor all those who died during the Civil War. Over time, it grew to include all who have gave their lives in military service. The origins are shared across several cities and traditions, but the intention has always been clear: to remember, to reflect, and to honor. Memorial Day invites us to ask, what in my life is so important that I would stand for it even when it's difficult? What do I treasure that isn't stored in a bank or buried in the ground, but lives in the heart, in character, and in purpose? Today, as we remember those who are no longer with us, on the battlefield or in everyday acts of service, we're invited to honor their legacy that they left behind by remembering their names and by carrying this forward with their spirit, their kindness, their courage, and their commitment to something well beyond themselves. So as we move through this weekend, I invite you to pause and remember those who have made a difference in your life. Decorate your heart with their memory, and if it feels right, let their example inspire the values you carry forward. Whether you are in the room or watching online, you are welcome here, where we work to honor all life through inclusion, diversity, and equity. Might you please join me in reading our mission? The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teaching. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. This year, we are studying world religions. Our focus this May has been on Buddhism. At its core, Buddhism is about liberation. Its promise is freedom from suffering. And to achieve this, on Buddhism's terms, it means recognizing and accepting our inherent Buddha nature, so we might transcend suffering. Enlightenment isn't the end goal, but rather the beginning of a deeper and more compassionate dance with life. We work to embrace our Buddha nature through our 5 spiritual practices. Might you please read those with me? Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. We use flowers at the center to send messages of love and appreciation. This morning's flowers are for Jeff Basham, on the occasion of his 5-year anniversary as our technical director. Really changed the center. We started streaming our Sunday services over Zoom during COVID, and as we came out of the pandemic, it became really clear that we needed to find a way to upgrade and continue our online services. That's when we hired Jeff. In those 5 years, Jeff has brought us into the 21st century with a professional live stream that is one of the best in our entire CSL movement. Go, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for your leadership of our video team and for approaching all that you do here with the heart of a practitioner, for you are one. Your attention to detail and dedication to excellence makes our center shine. We love you. I would now like to extend a warm welcome to our first-time visitors. First-time visitors, would you please stand as you are able or raise your hand? Our ushers would like to bring you a flower and a welcome packet as a token of our gratitude that you are here with us today. Please remain standing or keep your hand raised so we can find you. And if you are on the chat, let us know so we can welcome you that way. I know that somewhere between the music, meditation, prayer practices, and Reverend Russ's message today, you will find exactly what you need for the next step of your spiritual unfoldment. You are indeed welcome here. Now please enjoy some music before a short time of silent contemplation and prayer.
As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is, it brings me to
As I take a breath, I just recognize that breath of life that flows into our soul and spirit with that first breath, that first entrance into this beautiful world that we get to live in. That breath that carries us every day in every way. And the silence between the breaths. The silence between the words, and always the breath, the in, the out, the expansion, the contraction. This is life. This is love. This is the infinite presence that comes in with its full potential into each and every being. And so it is right here as me speaking itself and being itself. And it is also in and through every person in this room. It is that thing that calls us awake, to awaken to that divine love that lives in our heart, to awaken to that joy, to awaken to even our grief, because it's all God. So in this way, I just call into this presence, this time, this room, wherever you're listening with ears to hear and eyes to see, that acknowledgement, that recognition and realization of the one, the I am, the I am. So today, this service is simply a gift to my own heart. It is a gift to your heart. And so we recognize that something divine is happening through these musicians who have these beautiful instruments, but it is the talent of the divine that pours into their fingers and voices. It is the beauty and grace of the divine that pours through the spoken word this morning. It is the gratitude that we feel for all of the people that come before to open these doors and to keep this beautiful center running. It is gratitude for the person that you might have come with today, for the joy or the sorrow that you might have come with today, to have a place to just rest and be, to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed. So I bless the youth church and the beautiful children. I bless this time together, and I know that something called us here from deep within our own heart. And it is the heart of the divine that may be sitting right next to you, that might be breathing right behind you. But it is here, it is alive, and I welcome it with gratitude. And so I breathe, and I release it, and I let it be, because it is. It is just the way that it is, and so it is. Good morning, I'm Claire Victor, a prayer practitioner emeritus here, and I would like to invite you to read the affirmation with me. I meet this moment with clarity, compassion, and peace.
I am connected to this divine source of love that guides me through this world. I make an impact with each being I meet. Today is exactly what I need for my highest good, for my highest good. I am worthy. I am connected to this divine source of love that guides me through this world. For my highest good, amen. For my highest good, I am worthy. Open your heart, sing it loud, feel it. For my highest good, for my highest good, I am worthy. I am connected to this divine source of love that guides me through this world.
Good morning. Can we give some more love to Astra and Trey and Fran and Brett and Nick? Thank you so much for that beautiful music. Now, before I begin our message today, I have another flower dedication to share with our community. It's from Cindy Boyer, and it's for Tamira Hume. And Cindy says, "Happy birthday week to my beautiful friend of over 40 years. When I needed a spiritual lift in my life, you shared the center and all its positive energy. I am now an online member, hi Cindy, and forever grateful. Hope your birthday is as bright and wonderful as you are." So I hope you all see we couldn't have Tamira do her own flower dedication. It would have been a little weird. Okay. All right, let's dive in. One day, long ago, a man of little means scraped together what he had so he could travel and visit his wealthy friend. And he loved his friend very much. And he was overjoyed when they met again after having been apart for many years. And they poured wine and they drank and they sang songs together and they reminisced about their challenges and their achievements over the years. And the poor man, he drank maybe a little too much wine. And so he fell into a deep sleep that took him throughout the night. And the next morning, his wealthy friend noticed that, well, his friend was still asleep. And so in that moment, he was overcome with gratitude and love for his friend, who he saw had very little. And so he wanted to change his prospects. Now, he had pressing business, so he couldn't stay to tell him directly what he did, but he sewed into the man's robes a priceless jewel, the kind of jewel that would change a person's life forever. And satisfied at the good deed that he had done, he left his friend and he set out to the errands of the day. Now, a little later, the poor man woke up and he saw that his friend had left, assumed that he had business to take care of, and so with a grateful heart, he traveled home. But over the years, he struggled. He took harsh jobs that he didn't like so that he could make ends meet. He sometimes slept under the stars, not always able to afford a roof over his head. His clothes became threadbare and dirty. And he often wondered about his lot in life, feeling trapped in his poverty, sometimes feeling envious of his wealthy friend. Now, years later, the poor man and the wealthy man would have the opportunity to meet again. And when they did, the wealthy man was astonished at the sight of his friend who had had such challenging times. He asked him, with deep gratitude and compassion for him, "How is it that you came to be in this state? Before I left you all those years ago, I sewed into your robes a priceless jewel. Why haven't you used it to make your life better? You've always had with you the means to live a marvelous life." Now, this story is the parable of the hidden jewel in the robe, and it's from the Lotus Sutra. And it speaks about our topic today, Rohatsu, the Japanese Buddhist celebration of that morning when the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, achieved enlightenment. Now, Rohatsu typically begins on December 1st and it ends on December 8th, with each day focusing on meditation, much in the same way that Siddhartha Gautama meditated under the Bodhi tree before he found his enlightenment. And there's a passage from the Flower Ornament Sutra where the Buddha is believed to have said, upon seeing that first morning star while he was sitting under the Bodhi tree on the day of his enlightenment, "Marvelous, marvelous. How can it be that all sentient beings are fully endowed with the wisdom of the Tathagata, yet because of their deluded thinking and attachments, they do not realize it?" The Tathagata is one of the Buddha's names for himself. So he's really saying that we all have within us that very same Buddha nature. The jewel is already sewn in. We just can't always see it because of the opinions and the beliefs and the habits that can obscure our true nature. Our inability to see that nature now, I want to be clear, it's not the result of some spiteful universe or some mercurial deity who thinks that it's funny to play tricks on us by hiding that intrinsic nature. It's simply because awareness has always been ours to develop. And that development is an active thing. It's an ongoing thing. We can do this through practices like spiritual study here at the center. And I know that the more that I study, well, the more I learn just how deep awareness can go. And you can study like this too. Maybe you've had a time in your life when it turns out that all that you needed to succeed was already there, but you didn't quite know it at the time. Maybe there was something that you believed about yourself that was getting in the way. Well, for me, it started in kindergarten. You know, my birthday, which is July 20th, it landed in a way that meant that I started school when I was just 5 years old. You know, my mom was a teacher, and she really wanted me to get my school in early. She didn't want me to wait another year. Part of it, I think, is she wanted me out of the house, too. But suddenly I was in a room with more kids that I had ever met before in my life. And I didn't really know how to fit in. And on top of that, because I was the youngest, that meant that I was also usually the smallest kid in class. And so I felt weaker than the bigger kids. Now, there wasn't anything wrong with my body. It had within it all that it needed for me to be strong and healthy. But that belief stuck with me for much of my life. And it often got in the way of me being able to feel physically strong and capable. I struggled in my gym classes, even though I enjoyed playing sports like basketball and hockey and football. But my belief that I was weak prevented me from seeing just how far I might go. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, teaches that our thoughts are like seeds. Seeds that we are planting into a creative soul that acts upon them according to the energy and attention that we give them. The thoughts that we water grow. The thoughts that we neglect wither. And because I had watered thoughts that told me that I was physically weak, those thoughts turned into beliefs. And those beliefs kept me from recognizing the truth that I had always had within me, the potential for strength. You know, that makes me wonder, kind of like the Buddha did when he was under the Bodhi tree, why I was watering those thoughts for so long. Why we all water the weeds in our mind that can distance us from our Buddha nature. Well, one reason that I found is simply ignorance. I didn't know that potential was within me. I would try to go to the gym and work out, and I would feel tired and not see immediate results, and then I would give up because I thought what I was trying to do was just simply impossible. Impossible because I didn't believe that I had a body that could be strong. And it can be easy to judge myself because of that ignorance, but what I find helps so much is remembering that I can't possibly know everything, even about myself. That's just part of being human. And honestly, I think life would be pretty boring if I knew everything. There's a delight that comes from discovery, like the delight the Buddha felt the moment that he achieved his enlightenment. Now, this is one of the things that I find so inspiring about Buddhism, because compassion for suffering we experience as a result of our ignorance is a core principle of Buddhism. And then that means that I'm invited to have compassion for myself when I encounter things that I don't know. So do you. It's that compassion that then makes it okay for us to make mistakes. Because compassion acknowledges that part of life is knowing that sometimes we're going to stumble. We're going to mess up. We're not going to know everything. Having compassion for myself also makes it easier for me to have compassion for others when they face obstacles in life. When I can find and develop that compassion within, I notice that my ignorance turns into motivation. Motivation to understand as best that I can the things that I don't know. Motivation to connect with others by seeking understanding. For me, compassion often feels like an invitation to pause, breathe, and then look for all of the ways that I am still connected to life, rather than succumbing to all the ways that I might want to react when I find myself in a challenging situation. So in some ways, Rohatsu is an invitation to recognize that compassion within through the practice of meditation. And I've found that meditation helps me to discover the compassion that comes from my own Buddha nature. And it does that because it helps me recognize that I am not separate from the world and from the people within it. When I know that, then that compassion comes naturally. I don't have to force it. Maybe you've had times in your life, moments when you were able to recognize your own Buddha nature. Maybe it was during a meditation. Maybe it was watching a beautiful sunset. Maybe it was while you were out hiking in nature. Maybe it was when you're holding a tiny baby. I wonder in those moments, how did that recognition change the way that you view the world? Well, here's someone whose life was changed by a moment of realization that they weren't quite seeking. Some of you might have heard of neuroanatomist Jill Bolte Taylor. In 1996, at the age of 37, Jill Bolte Taylor had a stroke, and that shut down the left side of her brain. That part of our brain that typically handles things like language and logic and our sense of being a separate individual in the world. And she writes in her book, My Stroke of Insight, that the rest of her brain, it turns out, was working just fine while this was going on. In fact, so well that she understood completely that she was having a stroke in that moment. And there was even a part of her that thought, well, this is kind of cool. I mean, she is a neuroanatomist after all. And as her left brain was shutting down, she also experienced something remarkable. The boundaries in her mind between herself and the world fell away. She felt a sense of connection and oneness that was profound, that changed her life. And she didn't feel like she was being erased as though her entire self was just blending in with everything, but rather she felt more alive than she ever had as this vital part of this greater whole. Now, she did eventually regain the use of her left brain after finding her way to the hospital, and she ended up spending 8 years recovering. But she talks about how this experience changed her and how she is a very different person today than she was before her stroke. She finds that she's more compassionate, more connected with life, more joyful. In that moment of insight, I think that she met her Buddha nature. Her inherent curiosity and compassion, her intrinsic sense of connection to all things. And the good news is that we don't need to have a stroke to be able to access that. That's because each of those 5 spiritual practices you heard about from Tamira this morning, they can all point us toward our inherent Buddha nature. I mentioned spiritual study, and that helps me because it engages my mind, and my mind likes to be engaged, I'm not going to lie. And when it's engaged, I feel a sense of expansion, especially when I'm learning something that I didn't know before. And that puts me in touch with my inner curiosity. And that curiosity, it makes me wonder about the world, about the other people who are within it. It makes me wonder what others' experiences of life are like, what your experience of life is like. It makes me wonder how I might uplift, how I might reduce suffering in the world, wherever it's possible. And the best part, it keeps me open to possibility, especially in those times where it feels like there isn't any possibility. And then we have affirmative prayer, or spiritual mind treatment, as we might call it. You heard a beautiful example from Claire Victor this morning. Affirmative prayer reminds me that I am an active participant in life. And that means that my experience of life it's influenced by my view of myself and my view of the world. And that's what spiritual mind treatment does. It changes how we see by changing our thinking. So when I speak a spiritual mind treatment to remind myself that I'm not separate from the world, part of that is choosing how I live my life as a person who knows that even though I am a unique individual, I am also not separate. And if I'm planting seeds of wholeness through my prayer, then I'm invited by our teaching to water those seeds. If I pray for peace, for example, I might donate to organizations that I know are working towards peace in the world. I might go to peace marches. I might volunteer for peace organizations. And I know that I will especially try to live my life from a place of peace, letting peace inform all that I do so that I might be the best example of peace that I know how. And then there's meditation, which I think is such a wonderful practice to explore while we're in the month of Buddhism. So much of Buddhism revolves around different ways that we can meditate so that we might discover the very depths of our awareness. And I've been meditating for years in some form or another, and I have to say, each time that I sit down to meditate or I go out into nature to meditate, feels like the first time. Maybe you've had that experience too. And something that I've learned that I think is really important about meditation is recognizing that we're all different. We all have different minds. Oftentimes, we'll share mindfulness meditation here at the center because there's much good that it can bring, but I know that that form of meditation might not be for everyone. Some minds just don't work that way, and that's okay. So my encouragement for you is find the form of meditation that does work for you. Maybe you get that meditation playing an instrument. Maybe you get that feeling out walking in nature. Maybe you get that practicing some other form of meditation like effortless mindfulness. There's so many different ways that you can meditate. I encourage you, find what works for you. Try it out. And here's how you can tell that it's working for you. Once you do find a form that works, you'll know that it's working because you'll notice that your approach to life will change. If you feel like your mind is becoming more clear, that you're becoming less reactive to the challenges of life, then your meditation practice is probably working for you. If you feel more free, your practice is working. If you are finding more compassion for yourself, for others, for the world, well then your meditation practice is definitely working. And I notice that the more that I practice meditation, the more I'm reminded that it's not about trying to enter some profound and transcendent state of mind, seeking this blissful spark of enlightenment every time that I turn within. You know, that's a lot of pressure to put on a meditation. Instead, over time, I've learned how my meditation practice can create space and flexibility within my mind. And that helps me to feel more creative and more open to all that is possible. And that brings me to selfless service. And there are so many ways that we can give of ourselves to the world, and I am inspired every single day that I come here to the center because I get to see the impact that your volunteering has on you in your life. It's not just about the benefit that the center gets. I get to see how you have a better life. In fact, did you know there is a 2020 study that was performed by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health that discovered that volunteering can measurably improve health and longevity. They studied nearly 13,000 adults over the age of 50. And when they did this, they discovered that volunteering for at least 2 hours a week substantially reduced risk of mortality and developing physical limitations. They discovered that it led to higher levels of physical activity and that it improved volunteers' sense of well-being compared to those who did not volunteer. Isn't that cool? Volunteering quite literally is good for your health. And the best part is that it only takes as little as 2 hours a week. I mean, I feel like I spend more time watching TV. And then volunteering, that practice can be part of our larger practice of spiritual circulation, which we define as the acts of giving, receiving, asking, forgiving, and gratitude. And spiritual circulation, it invites us to build a relationship with the flow of life. And much like prayer, it is encouraging us to become an active participant in life. I know that sometimes it can feel like I'm trying to swim upstream with this raging river that I might call my life, and well, my practice of spiritual circulation is what helps me to turn my ship around, to right myself so that I might feel aligned with spirit again, and then ride its creative currents. Now, all of these practices, when we add them together, because I encourage you, don't practice just one and forget about all the others. They do all work together. When they're added together, they do something wonderful. They bring me to my Buddha nature, what Ernest Holmes liked to call the friend within. We all have that friend within, that inner spirit that I know I can draw upon for guidance, for inspiration, and for the unconditional love that always tells me it's going to be okay. Rohatsu is your invitation to discover your friend within. And just because it's in December doesn't mean that you can't dive in now. You don't need a Bodhi tree to sit under. All you need is practice and a willingness to meet your friend within with open arms. And I know that when we can meet that friend within, that's when we realize the promise of both Buddhism and the science of mind. Because in that moment, we accept the jewel of awareness that has always been sewn into the fabric of our soul. I invite you to look around you for a moment. Each of you carries this jewel. So in the spirit of Rohatsu, now is the time that we can help one another. Let the shining jewels of our awareness illuminate the world. And so let us conclude with our Buddhist prayer that we've been sharing this month. I invite you to turn within by taking a deep breath, allowing your eyes to close, your gaze to soften. And in this stillness, know that your friend within is with you as I read these words. May all beings be happy and secure. May their minds be contented. Whatever living beings there may be, feeble or strong, long or tall, stout or medium, short, small or large, seen or unseen, dwelling far or near, born or yet to be born, May all beings, without exception, be happy-minded. Let no one deceive another or despise any person whatever in any place. In anger or ill will, let no one wish any harm to another. Just as a mother would protect her only child, even at the risk of her own life, even so let one cultivate a boundless heart toward all beings. Let one's thoughts of boundless love pervade the whole world, above, below, and across, without any obstruction, without any hatred, without any enmity. This, they say, is the sublime state in this life. And so it is. I invite you all to take a nice deep breath, breathing in. Let out a big sigh. We use our breath to help us transition to our opportunity to practice spiritual circulation here at the center. And today, if you would like to give financially, there are a number of ways that you can give. You can go on our website, cslsr.org/donate, to give online. You can also use text to give. I use it. It's very fast and easy. You can talk to me after service if you'd like to see how to set that up. And today we will pass the basket. So I invite our ushers to stand and to hold this sacred space where I know that the friend within is always present. And I invite you to hold your gift close to your heart as a symbol of your heart's connection to this community, and repeat after me. I bless my gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does incredible work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
That's some piano, huh? Big time. I have some announcements for us. As we know, music can bring healing to the soul. And the good news is we all carry healing music within us. Even if we can't carry a tune, it's still within us. That's why I'm glad that today is the day of Astra Fox's new workshop, My Own Medicine. Astra, can you tell us a little bit more about what you're going to share this afternoon?
I would love to. Thank you. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check. Thank you so much. So I'm excited to be sharing the signature workshop I'm debuting today with you all. It's blending my music from my album I released last year, My Own Medicine, with the companion lyrical coloring book. So if you want to use creativity as a spiritual practice, get unstuck, and leave inspired, I invite you to join us.
And what time is it?
Today at 1 p.m. to 3 o'clock.
And where is it?
Wagner Hall.
As we know, it takes a community. So, thank you, Astra. That sounds really exciting. And the workshop is in Wagner Hall at 1 p.m. It's right here. And the next thing I want to tell you about is my very own class that starts June 3rd. It's Zen writing, and it's going to be magnificent and fun. We'll do meditations. We'll explore the barriers that block us from knowing we can truly write. We'll shush that inner critic. We will have lots of exercises about feelings. We will paint the moon as a color. We will deepen our thoughts about who we are and what we can do. Nothing is impossible. So I invite you to join me for this 4-week class, 4 Wednesdays, 10 to 11:30. And I'll be out there between services if you'd like to come ask any questions. So please do join me. Both of these events you can register online. And there's a number of recurring events throughout the week that you can tap into to find your spiritual inspiration. There's a daily generative love practice on Zoom where you spend time with your center friends meditating on love. There is also our life visioning practice group every Monday where you'll be guided into prayer and meditation about the vision for your life. And you can join Reverend Sayota Bell every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Zoom for her inviting the sacred meditation. We've been studying the nuances of our minds in the Wednesday evening service. This Wednesday at 7 p.m., Reverend Russ is talking about how we can use spiritual practice to help build confidence, even in the midst of life's biggest challenges. And there's just one more week before our all-community service, next Sunday, May 31st. At what time? 10 a.m. So we are combining both services because then we're going to have lots of extra music and inspiration and a packed house. So mark your calendars for what promises to be a joyful celebration. That's all for now. Thank you for being a part of our community. Have a great week.
Thank you so much, Tamara, for telling us about all the wonderful things that are happening in our community. It is time to bring our service to a close, but before we do, if you are having a challenging time, if you would like to have one of our licensed prayer practitioners help you recognize your own inner friend within, I invite you to take advantage of our after-service prayer. If you're watching online, there's a link you can go to have a free confidential Zoom prayer with one of our licensed prayer practitioners. And if you're here in the room, you can head on over to the white table in the corner, and one of our practitioners will guide you to another one who would be happy to pray for whatever your heart desires. So please do take advantage of that. I know sometimes I'm not able to see my own Buddha nature. And that's why I'm grateful that I have friends who can. And that is such a gift that I can give myself. So I hope you give yourself that gift as well. All right, I invite us all to stand as we are able and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Please know with me that you are never alone. That spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know you're guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Thank you so much for being here. Let's close in song.
I release